Going live right now, NomadX community, Facebook fam. Early morning it is. Damn it. It's early morning for us here. At least like 10 o'clock in the morning feels early. And it's not that early for my guest today. And his name is Nate. And Nate is a legend. We were just, like the reason why we're late today with streaming is because me and Nate discussed so much what we're going to talk about because he has so much to offer, and we still don't know because there is so much to cover and we only have 20 minutes time. However, I'm super stoked and excited. Nate, welcome to the show. It's great.
Hey, thanks, man. Love the energy. Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it. Nate, maybe just to start with, can you give us an overview about yourself, who you are, what you do, what's the mission, and what can we expect from the next 15 minutes?
Yeah, cool. So my 30-second bio. Sold my e-commerce business a couple years ago. And, that was a big catalyst for all this. Like, what am I good at? What's important? Where do I go? Who am I? What should I do? And, that through that, really like some of my, really core beliefs are that businesses should be, the business should serve you, not you serve the business. And that business is really the, one of the best opportunities for freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. And also, I really believe in balance, and like business is a part of it. And it's also important to be, working in the business, but you don't want to be a slave to the business because, other things are important. Free, play and exercise. I love yoga. I love traveling. I love Burning Man. And I also love business and, all of these things being a piece together. And so yeah, the last few years I've invested in a couple businesses and, a lot of like helping people to, build their business in the way that it serves them. And those businesses are going well. And yeah, got a bunch of other projects and stuff, but that's the quick version.
That's Nate in a nutshell. That's awesome, bro. Yeah, and I can just confirm that whole thing with the balance. I think you got that down to earth, and a lot of us don't, because I know. Every time when I finish my work for the day and I sit down and I open up a beer, I like to watch stories on Facebook, on Instagram, and I always see you doing handstands, and I feel so guilty. But like me, the couch potato, having the beer, it's like that guy is like super in shape. It's like, so
yeah. Well, I said the yoga has been a big part of my life for 6 or a bunch of years now, and so yeah, I mean, I guess. Balance is important, literally and figuratively. I think, I like doing handstands and those are fun. And also, balance holistically, also important.
That's awesome. Now, as I said, I think it's like super, super important. And I know that personally also, like when you are in shape, when you feel good body wise, your business is gonna work way, way better than if you are like spinning in that circle. But let's go back a little bit. I'm super excited because you said you sold your business. You sold your dropshipping business, right? What was the business?
FBA.
Sorry, an FBA was.
Yeah. It was a.
Sorry.
What? Yeah, I just missed that. What'd you say?
Sorry,
what were we selling?
A little delay. Yeah. What was the business about? What was the business?
Yeah, we were selling a bunch of activated charcoal products, a bunch of wine products. I mean, it was a pretty there was a couple different categories of products that we were in, and we actually were bought by like a huge Chinese Amazon thing. And I mean, the story, like when we ended up selling, it was all pretty unexpected. Like I was on a call with my business partner. I was in Vietnam at the time, and he mentioned like, hey, I think I might know someone who's interested in buying the business. Are you interested? And I was like, well, yes. And so literally like 2 days later, I was on a plane to China to go meet this guy and, come to an agreement. We, eventually did. And yeah, the guys that the company that bought us, they have like, I I think it's like hundreds of Chinese people, you know, that are running this huge operation thing. And so, yeah, I mean, I was really fortunate to have that opportunity and that outcome, and, you know, learned a lot through the experience. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. I think this is kind of like, so the entrepreneurial dream, right? You build a business and then you're kind of like selling the business, which was always one of the things I really loved about. When you built the business by the time, was it the plan to sell the business, or why did you build it?
Yeah. So I always wanted to build the business so that we could have an exit. And this is actually an area now. I mean, I also have this podcast called Ecom Exits, where we talk a lot about e-commerce exits. And so, like, you know, I'm really interested in, you know, I've sold a business, I've invested in some businesses. Like, the whole exit, you know, buying, selling space, I think is really interesting. And so this is stuff that now, like, I mean, with any of my businesses, as well as stuff of like what we help other people to do, I think that everybody should build a business that they can sell. Whether they want to sell is totally up to them. But like, you know, the things really, to build a business that you can sell, like, this means that it can't be dependent on you to run. It needs to be profitable. And, you know, I mean, and basically, like, talk about the 3 Ps: people, process, and profit. And so, you know, like, necessarily, if you want to have a business you can sell, you got to be able to check those 3 boxes: people, process, profit. And, you know, and so I think every business should, you know, should be on top of those areas. And like, when you do that, that gives you options. If you want to sell, you can, you know, like the business that I sold, for example, it was unexpected, but like, I was, you know, we were on top of those things. I had a great team. We had good processes. We were on top of our financials. And so, you know, when we had that opportunity to sell, we could take advantage of it. And so, you know, and for other people as well, like, if you want to sell your business, if you want to have an exit, I mean, that's, you know, that's totally up to you. But every business, I think, should build so that they could sell. And, you know, and if they don't want to sell, then they just hold on to this great business that they have, and, you know, they can just ride that. But it's the same pieces in place. And so yeah, we built it with that in mind. Although the exit, when it happened, was unexpected. Right.
I think that's very, very interesting. What would you say for if people are watching that and they are kind of like in their beginning phase, you know, like they might they start to build the business, but they don't know where to start, mainly in terms of what's going to be the right product, what's going to be the right service. What would you recommend to someone? Did you build your business by the time based on product decisions, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, so the first step in any, you know, before you get to the, you know, the 3 Ps, it's about getting traction. And like, there's a lot of different, you know, depending on the service, depending on the business model, there's a lot of different ways to go about doing that. So, you know, the business that I sold was selling on Amazon. So we got traction when, you know, we were launching a couple products. It was actually my second product that really like took off. The first product, honestly, like, it wasn't a big hit. I mean, it wasn't a fit. Like, it was selling a little bit, but not that much. And then it wasn't until the second product that, like, you know, really, like, you know, caught. And then we knew, you know, we were doubling down. Then we launched our third and fourth and fifth, and, you know, and that's like with the Amazon model. And so, you know, and then, you know, if you're selling a service, you know, getting your first paying customer, you know, your first quality case study, you know, then your second, like, that would be in the getting traction, you know, phase. And you know, at that phase, it's really about, you know, validation. Like, can you successfully and profitably make a sale of something, whether it's a physical product on Amazon, whether it's whatever, consulting service to another business, whether it's, coaching or this, it's just like, getting that first profitable transaction. And, the way to do that, or at least how I've, really throw a lot of stuff against the wall. I've started and, mostly unsuccessfully a ton of businesses, but then, you throw a lot of stuff out and then, something hits and then you can, double down. And that's when you kind of get into the like building the business part.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much exactly spot on. And that's what you have to consider, guys. And not to forget, if you're watching this or if you're watching the review, just make sure to drop your questions in the comments and we're going to make sure they all getting answered, because I know it is early and most of you guys are probably lying around and having a hangover or whatever, because it's still early time in Europe. But that doesn't matter. Watch the reviews, drop everything in it, because we have the master here and Nate's going to answer all that stuff for you. Or if not, I'm going to do it. That's no problem at all. So that's going to be like super cool. So Nate, now we talked a little bit about the past. Let's skip forward a little bit and look a little bit into the future. What would you recommend to someone if someone shows up and say, look, I want to start to work online. I want to start to build business. What's in your opinion? What's the most profitable way to get that started these days?
I think the best way to get started is going to be selling some sort of a service. And so, some type of consulting, some type of service. That's how I got my start, was, freelancing on Upwork actually, or Odesk at the time.
Okay.
And, I built up a handful of internet marketing consulting kind of clients, was, running AdWords for some people and just kind of, random different marketing stuff. And so the thing is like, I think the quickest, if your goal is to, make enough income to support yourself and be able to be free and travel, if you can, you get one consulting client for a couple grand a month, or a couple consulting clients for, $1,000 a month. And like, that's, you can, a couple grand a month goes really far. And so, and so I think that's the and you can start doing that today. Everyone has different skills. And if you don't have skills, buy some Udemy courses. They're, $10. They're always on sale, so learn, you can learn some skills and you can start, selling and being profitable, today. And so I think that's, if you're starting, if you're starting and the goal is, support yourself, making income, that's I think the most direct way to do that. That being said, and services and agencies definitely have certain benefits and advantages. They also have, different, everything has, benefits and also disadvantages. And, and also with that being, I'm a big e-commerce fan. That's where my, the first big success came from. And I love e-commerce. There's a lot of opportunity in e-commerce, but the thing is, it's going to take longer, and it's often going to be more expensive. So it's going to take more time, more money. Even if you launch a product, whether it's Amazon or on Shopify, or you're doing drop shipping or whatever, a lot of times it's going to take longer for that profit to accumulate. You have to reinvest in more inventory, or, a lot of that's going back into your advertising or this. And so it's it can just take longer. With my FBA business that, did really well, eventually sold it. The first 6 months, every dollar was going back into the business. And it was even more than that. I was, maxing out my credit cards, any money I could find to buy inventory. And, that was fine. I had some other income, but from, consulting. And then, as the e-commerce grew and the consulting, kind of went down, it shifted, but it takes longer. So I think the quickest way to start is going to be, some type of service or consulting.
Right. Right. Awesome, bro. Yeah, as I think that's a very, very valuable point you just touched base on, because it is important to understand that it takes time. Like, and there are ways you can probably speed up a bit faster. As you said, I think the agency model is still working very well. And if you do some consulting, but if you build it on an e-commerce space, it will take time. But I'm always having the mindset that good things, they will take time. There is no shortcut to success. You can't just cut it off and be super successful. And that's unfortunately what we see online these days. And everyone is like, oh my gosh, I'll be there in a month. No, you're not. It just takes time.
All right.
What is your forecast? I mean, now we have that really, really bad situation, and that fucker Corona hit the whole world. Everything broke down. Economy is passed away, and everything goes online. And I know, like, the online sales, they went like massively up. Everyone was ordering everything online. Delivery services couldn't catch up with the amount of packages and stuff like that. What's your forecast based on the Corona situation for the future? Where do we head with that whole scene?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, this whatever the craziness going on in the world, it's really, been a strong for e-commerce as an industry. And it's something that I've actually, so with my podcast, I've had some really interesting interviews with, like, well-connected people in the space or this or that. And so, yeah, I got some really interesting insight. And I think that this whole, pandemic, it has accelerated the adoption of e-commerce. And so I'm long e-commerce, and also something to keep in mind. And, it's e-commerce as an industry. So that is selling your own products as well as e-commerce consulting. And so that's what I would, if I was, looking to get started, I would start with some sort of e-commerce consulting. Maybe it's Facebook ads, maybe it's Google ads, maybe it's CRO, maybe it's copywriting. And, you build some e-commerce marketing skills that you can start selling, because, the e-commerce industry, it overall good. It's not all booming. I know people that are, different categories are down, but like, I think the e-commerce industry is going strong and poised to continue to be strong, in the future. And so yeah, I think that opens up a lot of opportunity for, brands and sellers, as well as for consultants in the industry. And so, and that's kind of, my roundabout sort of journey. I mean, I had this, my biggest success was, selling my own products, my own brands. And then from that, the last few years, I've focused a lot more on agencies. So now I'm a partner in 4 different agencies that actually all service the e-commerce space. And so I've stayed in the e-commerce space, but also, I mean, even if you have success with e-commerce, it's still like, it's, there's downsides. It's expensive, cost of goods, like, margins get low. Like it's, there's no perfect situation. And that, and so that kind of put me more towards the services side. So that's where I've been the last few years. But now, like, that I've got, honestly, like, way more experience and insight and knowledge and understanding, and also, like, have a fairly stable, incoming cash flow from the services, to then now get back into the physical product side. So that's like what I'm, now working on, is getting back into e-commerce, my own e-commerce, my own products. And so for anyone that's listening, I think that's a route that anyone can take. You start as a consultant, some type of e-commerce marketing, where you can get paid, have money, get paid. And, as you also will learn, you'll get exposed. We've been with some of the businesses we work with, like, these awesome, 8-figure e-commerce brands. And, like, it's amazing to be able to get the insight in, we literally see what's working, what are their funnels, what are their landing pages, what are they selling, everything. And so, you get you really get, it's an amazing education that you're also getting paid for. And so, now, and so I think for anyone, they can, have some sort of skill that they can use to help, market or promote e-commerce, to get exposure and experience and connections and everything in the space. And then you can use that to then, launch your own products down the line, which, is, I think, also going to be a good option for a while.
Wow. That was a value bump, a massive value bump. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, absolutely, man. That was like, guys, if you are watching and listening to that, that's kind of like the step-by-step blueprint you want to go. And we all know it works because this man proved it more than once, dropped it in here. So Nate, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge, all this value in here. What can we expect from you next? Where are you heading? What are the plans? Is there anything coming up?
Yeah. A bunch of stuff in the works. A big thing, working on growing my podcast, which I've been really enjoying, and that's, overall been going good. Working on getting back into my own products and launching my own brands, and kind of have been playing around with like an accelerator program idea that's kind of been in the back of my mind for a long time. It's been often delayed, but still, thinking. And so I'd say, anyone that's like interested in connecting, I think Instagram's a good place. At Nate Ginsburg, if you want to, I love to connect and chat and, curious about what other people are doing. And if, we can help with anything. And, also if you like yoga and Burning Man, looking to connect with, with those people too.
That's awesome. I love it. As we said at the very beginning of that interview, you are having such a massive range, and I'm absolutely fascinated by that. So Nate, thank you so much again for sharing. I dropped the link to the podcast, the link to the Instagram, and the link to SellerPlex in the comments. And that's where you want to go, guys, when you want to connect with Nate and getting that knowledge directly hand in hand from the expert himself. And till then, I want to say thank you again. It was awesome to have you on the show. Really, really cool. Thanks for being a part of the community. Bro, I wish you all the best. And I'm really looking forward to catch up with you again.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we can meet up in Bali again sooner rather than later.
We had that chance only once. I remember the day when we met in Bali. That was like 4 or 5 days before we flew out.
I know. Me too. Was not. We both unexpectedly left Bali. Didn't think that was going to be the only chance we had to meet up when we were in Bali, but glad at least we got to do that. And
no, it was my fault. I take the blame because I was always like, oh, I'm busy, I can't. Let's do it another day. And then finally it happened, and then a global pandemic came. All right. It could be worse. We're still alive. Now, Nate, thank you again, and I wish you all the best. Good luck on your journey. Excited to follow you. And also to have you in the community. Thank you so much.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bro. Take care. Bye-bye.